Hi, my friends. You're dishing with Trish again on relationships. Last video I did, we were talking about social exchange theory, one that tells you the outcome of your relationship is equal to your rewards divided by your costs. More rewards, you're happy, probably going to stay. More costs, it's not suiting you, and you're probably going to leave. I always hear the song, Should I Stay or Should I Go, running through my head in the background when I talk about social exchange. But there's two other factors. You can make it a little more complicated, a little more depth to the theory. It also takes into consideration your, it's called your CL, your comparison level for relationships, meaning how well you're treated in this relationship compared to how well you've been treated in others. So it can kind of make it a more interesting formula. I've got more rewards than costs, but I gotta tell you, I've been treated better than this before. So that might kind of put more weight on the I should go side. That's your comparison level. Also, they factor in your comparison level for alternatives. This means the people waiting in the wings for the chance to take over the job of being your partner. Like if you can't walk to the mailbox to check your mail without people riding by and throwing, little sheets of paper with their digits on them for you to call them, you got a lot of alternatives. If, on the other hand, it's just you and that partner you're in a relationship with out on a deserted island, only the two of you in some post apocalyptic nightmare, you don't have many alternatives. So, in that case, you have more costs than rewards in the relationship, but, and you've been treated better in other relationships, but there ain't nobody else to choose from, you're probably going to stay. See how it can sway it back in a different direction, maybe? So the things that you're considering are your rewards for being in the relationship, your cost for being in the relationship, your comparison level, how you've been treated before, and your comparison level for alternatives, alternative partners that are available to you. So, if you ever are stuck in the literal should I stay or should I go, get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, and figure out those four things. And it might help you make a decision. All right. Equity theory. Here's another one to tell if you should stay or you should go. In this one, you look at how much you are putting into the relationship compared to how much you're getting out of it. So you've got a numerator and a denominator there. I'm using fancy math words. I barely know what they mean. How much you put into it, how hard you work it, and how much you get out of it, benefit-wise. And then you compare that to how much your partner's putting into it and how much they're getting out of it. Now, if our partner is working harder than we are, if our partner is getting less benefit than we are, or if everything's even, we don't mind. But human beings are basically greedy, so if we feel that we are working harder than our partner, and if our partner, God forbid, is getting more out of this relationship than we are and not working as hard as we are plenty bent out of shape. So that's another way that you could look at it and help yourself make a decision as to whether you're in the right relationship. How hard you work, what you're getting out of it, compared to how hard they work and what they're getting out of it. Okay? One last study that I always used to love to tell my kids about, and we will leave attraction. There once was a study, we call it the bridge study, And I wish I could tell you the people's names who published this. I can't, but again, I'm sure Google could find it for you. It certainly wasn't me. I am not taking credit for it. Um, Two bridges were built, pedestrian little walking bridges. One of them over, let's call it a glorified ditch. Nothing too hazardous. And another bridge built over a pretty darn good drop, maybe 25, 30 feet, we'll say. Maybe even 50 feet if you want to really put in the shiver factor. Bunch of guys were participating in the study, and we only needed one girl. The guys were divided into two groups randomly. Half of them were sent one at a time over the little footbridge. The other half were sent one at a time over the slightly scary bridge. As each man reached the other side of his assigned bridge, he was met by the lady in the study who was given a clipboard, a pen, and a lab coat, we'll say, and a list of questions that she needed to ask the participants after they crossed the bridge. Well, the questions were apropos of nothing. They meant nothing. The men answered the girls' questions, and they were sent on their merry way. And as they start to leave, perhaps the scientist goes, "Oh, man, wait a minute. I forgot to pay you for participating in our study. Here." And as he's giving him his $5 or his extra credit points or what have you, the scientist says, "Tell me, what'd you think of the girl?" And as it turns out, the guys who had been across the footbridge, the glorified ditch, said, "Oh, yeah, she's very nice, did her job well, nice girl, great personality." The guys who had been across the scary bridge, the deeper drop, all said, "Oh my God, she was hot." So this proved their theory that when we get upset, that's not a really good word, when our system becomes aroused, and you can imagine I had to really back off that word arousal with my college students because I meant heart rate, blood pressure going up, sweaty palms, that kind of arousal, not anything sexual. Just when your system gets a little worked up. One thing we don't like to do is to tell ourselves, "I'm a big old chicken. I am a lily-livered, yellow-backed chicken here." We're not going to tell ourselves that. So, to explain to ourselves this upset we're feeling, we think, "Ooh, I must be attracted to," and we look around and the person closest by that meets the standard of who we're attracted to, like if they were straight men, as in this study, there's a female, must be her. I'm attracted to her. One of the most fun parts about telling my students about this was, okay, now how can you use this information, the bridge study? How can you use it? And as it turned out, it was always this time of year, when people are getting geared up for Halloween, when we were studying this stuff. And so it came to them pretty quickly. The fairs in town, we could go to the fair and we could ride the rides and take them on the Ferris wheel. And when it's stuck at the top, maybe they'll be attracted to me. Or take them to a haunted house. And when they get scared, they can grab onto me. So, yeah, if you've got a big first date coming up and you really, really want this person to like you, do something new that might be a little bit scary. If not scary, then might make you tense up a little bit or might make the partner tense up. That's the important part. Okay? All right. See you next time. Don't forget to punch the like button. Don't forget to rate it 5 stars, whatever it is you've got to do there. I appreciate it so very much. Bye, y'all.